Hello everyone, Ryan Null here. I just wanted to make a video to talk about really just one thing. Why are we talking about Israel so much, seemingly overnight? It seems like everyone is talking about Israel now. It's either you love them or you hate them. And it's like, why is there so much media coverage and propaganda in the media outlets about Israel, trying to get you to hate them? And I mean, the machine is real, right? Because anybody who knows Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes knows that it didn't happen overnight, right? This has been baking for the last couple of years. But if you actually look into the history of this kind of thing, it didn't start with them, right? It didn't start with them at all. I mean, it goes back to the 90s, and then before the 90s, it goes back to Hitler. You know, everybody is using the same propaganda. So, and the propaganda machine is it's the secret weapon, right? But propaganda is a poison that happens over time, and before you realize it, you're unalived, really, before you realize what's going on. But the propaganda has always been the same against Israel, and that is, and it goes all the way back to the Old Testament time, right? This term Baal. Now, Baal has been used against the people of Israel probably since the time that it was occurring, and the Bible has vehemently condemned the worship of Baal, making the children of Israel understand all throughout the Old Testament that he is a holy God and that he does not require any child sacrifices, and condemns the worship of Baal vehemently as an idol and a disgrace. So we have the Hebrew Bible's condemnation, vehement condemnation of the worship of Baal. Yet, what you're seeing in the media is, you know, I asked myself whenever I was seeing this take place, I was watching this in the streets of Iran. They're burning a caricature of Baal as a statement against Israel and the Western nations, and Christian Zionism. So why are they using Baal as, I mean, you would think that they would be burning like a caricature of Jesus or something, but no, they choose Baal. And the reason, and it's calculated, the reason why they're doing it is because they want to link Baal worship with the Jews. And this has been a stigma that has been happening for literally thousands of years. And it really took shape and took hold at the beginning of the Roman Catholic Church, or the Universal Church it was called, before it was completely organized into the Catholic Church. The Jews killed Jesus, so everything that they get, every bad thing that happens to them, they had it coming to them, and the Jews are really just worshipers of Baal that sacrifice their children unto a pagan deity. And that narrative has followed, and it has been rather successful in dividing the nations against the Jews. And in replacement theology that is taught in Roman Catholicism, it states that the Holy Mother Church is now New Israel, right? That's where this comes from. And this is from we're talking about 4th century AD. That's how old this propaganda is that we're feeding into. So it's not by chance when you see the images, when you see the Iranians in the streets burning the statue of Baal. This is the reason why, is because they are spinning up this propaganda that in recent times has been really popularized by a Russian philosopher named Alexander Dugin. And Alexander Dugin has been spinning narratives for decades against Israel and their love, quote unquote, for Baal worship, which is completely and utterly unfounded and false. But you see what this narrative does is it builds a case that the Jews are not actually people, but rather they are semi-demons. They are subhuman and not deserving of the dignity of life. And this is where this propaganda goes. And when it's spun to a point where it's happened for so long and the people's ears become desensitized to hearing it, it builds up a hatred that creates something akin to the Holocaust, right? Because this is the same exact rhetoric that Hitler uses against the Jewish people. And it's factual history. So, when you listen to the Tucker Carlsons of the world that say that Hitler was actually operating in defense and, and just trying to protect his people, but you can look at the history books and you can see that that is very much a false statement, and that the truth is the exact opposite of what the Tucker Carlsons of the world are saying. Is that the Jews, they worship Baal. They worship this pagan idol. We have to get rid of them. And when you dehumanize a nation like this, then it no longer becomes murder, right? But rather social justice. We have to avenge or protect our nations from this cancer that has established themselves as a nation. And the thing about it is, these are prophecies in the Bible. You can read Ezekiel 37, 38, 39, it's there. You can read Zechariah chapter 12 all the way to chapter 14, it's there. Right? All of these prophecies are there, and what these prophecies contain is that all of the nations of the world hate Israel. It's prophecy. And this is why Jesus said that when you see these things begin to happen, these wars, rumors of wars, to not let your heart be troubled, because it must be. Now, right now, at the moment, America, one of the most powerful nations in the world, is protecting Israel. That's also not by chance, right? That the most powerful nation in the world would be protecting Israel, whilst most of the religious world, that is, on the Christian side, are deeply seated against it. And I think that is going to change the trajectory of the next American election cycle for the presidency, is going to be likely divided on support for Israel. But what you're being fed right now in the media is laying the groundwork for that purpose. And the day that the United States begins to hate Israel to the point to where there's no longer support for them is the day that the United States will cease to be a nation before God. Mark my words on that, because I 100% believe that that statement is biblically accurate. Now, I'm a supporter of Israel. I don't coin myself with the derogatory terms such as Christian Zionism, but I don't put myself in that box at all. But I will say this, is that I support Israel, the nation, because they're a nation, just like any other nation that has its own sovereignty, that deserves the dignity of survival, just like any other nation does. And here's the other thing, for all of the Christians that say that they're an apostate nation and that, they may or may not really deserve to be there, is that there are Jews left and right coming to Christ, coming to believe in Jesus as the Messiah. That people are being converted to Christianity, that Jews are converting to believing in Yeshua. So God has a remnant there, just like he has a remnant in every other nation. And I just have to use my voice. As small as my voice is, nobody listens to me. But I have to come out and say it. I feel morally obligated to stand up and say it because I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus as my Messiah, as my God. And I believe that Jesus is the same God of the Old Testament. Yeshua, he's the same. He's my salvation. He's our salvation. He's salvation for everybody. But I didn't get on here to preach. I got on here to speak with boldness that be careful what you are listening to in the media and buying. Because you're being sold a bill of goods that is founded upon nothing but lies and propaganda. So I'm going to add a link in the description of this video just so that you can actually look at some of this history yourself and see how the machine, the propaganda machine, has been in the process of being built for hundreds of years. And every bit of it in this article that I'm linking to is 100% accurate. So I encourage everybody to go and read it, and I hope that it helps alleviate some of your concerns on whether or not we should be supporting Israel or not. And I think it's in the best interest of the American people to support Israel, because they are a sovereign Western nation that supports freedom. And just as all of the other nations who hate freedom and hate Western ideology and hate democracy, they are building propaganda machines all over the world to make the Western nations turn against the free world. This is this is the whole point of the democratic machine that has been being built for many, many years in the United States. You know, before it was you were divided in America, whether you were voted left or you voted right, whether you were a Republican or whether you were a Democrat. But now it's changing. The political field is changing dramatically. And now it's about whether or not you love Israel or you hate them. And there is no in between. There's no in between. And the reason why there's no in between is because the Bible said that there wouldn't be an in between. Because at the end, when it's all said and done, God gathers all the nations to come against Israel. And that's the place where he judges the entire world. And you can read that in Joel, chapter 2 and chapter 3. But, again, I just wanted to get on and really just, I just feel the need to let my voice be heard, as insignificant as my voice is. I just, in my small group of people that follow me, I just wanted to get my voice out there and encourage people who are maybe on the fence about whether or not they should be supporting Israel, read up on the history. At the end of the day, it's truly evil versus good in this case. You know, because God is kicking up the dust of all of the people to stand for something, right? It's either you're going to stand against God or you're going to stand for God. Now, I'm not calling Israel God. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that there is a covenant that God has made with the nation of Israel. And that will never go away. And in point of fact, the Bible actually says that God will break his covenant with the sun, moon, and the stars before Israel ceases to be a nation before him. Setting religious doctrine aside, at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is truly demonic. It's truly evil. That we've got this machine that's being built right here in the United States and the Western world to hate a nation and to see wiping them off of the map as social justice, I think is as evil as it gets. But that's the bill of goods that you're being sold right now by Tucker Carlson and by Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and all of the other Jew haters in the world. They're all just voices of the Iranian regime at the end of the day, because this is what the Iranian regime, the Ayatollah, this is what the radical Islamic machine is doing. They want to destroy Israel. And so right now, there are many people that are trying to convince you that you need to hate Israel with them. And right now, it's not working. And Trump isn't buying it. Trump isn't buying it at all because he's a proponent for the free, for the free world. He's a proponent of the free world, and that's the thing about it is because Israel is a free nation, just like any other nation. Even if, let's say, Japan was in trouble, America would likely be helping them too. So really what I want to convey here is think about what's happening right now. Think about how divided this issue is making our nation, the United States of America. And I do believe that this will turn the trajectory of our next election, 100%. The main issue of our next election is going to be on the issue of supporting Israel or the lack thereof. So all of the propaganda that we're hearing right now is for that purpose. That's what we're up against. That's what we're up against. And I think there is far more people in the United States that are with Israel than are against Israel. And simply as a sovereign nation, I think we should support them. They are our brother and sisters in the free world, and we should definitely support that endeavor. But that's it, guys. I really just wanted to get this out of my system. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with some family and some friends, and subscribe to the channel because it's going to help me out at the end of the day. And it's going to help me get more of this message out because I've got a lot more than this, but I'm going to cut it right there. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.